Knife reviewers on YouTube shouldn't design knives. This is a common thing that I've heard this year in the knife community because we've had several popular channels designing knives that have been released, but some people just aren't sold. If you were to scan the interwebs, you might find in the deepest, darkest crevices that people are kind of burnt out on it, at least to some extent. And so the question has to be asked, should YouTube knife reviewers design knives? Today, we're going to talk about it because in our hands, we've got exactly one of those, the Tri-Stash from Tri-State.edc. And we're going to be using this as a litmus test to decide, should knife reviewers design knives? Let's go. Hey, how's it going, everybody? If you're new here, welcome in. And if you've been here before, go ahead and tickle the like button on the way in. I'm Rollshambo, the connoisseur and collector of all things sharp and shiny. And today, by popular demand, you guys asked me about this. You pestered me. You said in my live streams, Rollshambo, when are you going to check out the Tri-State.edc Tri-Stash? Listen, I might not be able to grow facial hair that well, but at least for today, we've got a mustache on deck. This is the Tri-Stash, the Tri-State.edc design knife, the knife that has been very, very highly hyped. And just a disclaimer, guys, if you're looking for a knife that you can go to a website and buy right now, this is not it. The pre-order for this has officially ended. It's over. Finito, complete. However, you guys have told me in many live streams, the amount of times I've been asked about whether or not I'm going to review the Tri-State.edc Tri-Stash is absurd. Should knife reviewers be designing knives, or should they leave it to someone with a little bit more experience? And today we're going to talk about it. So to start off with, let's talk about what does it cost, or what did it cost, and what did you get for your money? Well, we've got a nearly full-size knife here coming in at 7 3/4 inches. 3.5 of that is this beautiful satin finish S90V blade, which Bestech is claiming is going to be heat treated to 62 Rockwell. For those of you in the know, you know how impressive that is on S90V. S90V is one of the most wear resistant steels out there. Manufacturers hate heat treating steels like S90V that high because they go through a ton of consumables when they mill a blade, especially when that milling is hollow ground. Yeah, so this is a Warncliffe or a Sachs style blade. I'm not really sure, but I'll let you guys argue about it in the comment section down below. And it's very, very thin here behind the edge. Look at that. That is essentially a utility razor behind the edge. And because it is hollow ground, that means that when you do repeated sharpenings, for those of you brave enough that want to sacrifice your diamond stones, it's not going to get super thick behind the edge the same way that a flat ground blade would. So that's great news for those of you who are users and who also sharpen your knife. And, you know, more on that point, look at the difference between the plunge grind and the edge termination. You're not going to put a smile on the edge of this blade. It's not something that you have to worry about. It's not something that I have to harp on. On the handle scales, we've got this beautiful knurling texture. And I'm going to call it knurling. Some people might call it diamond pattern. Potato, tomato, it is what it is. It serves a purpose, and that purpose is supreme grip. Does it have it? Yes. Is it uncomfortable? No, not really. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that these titanium handle scales are nicely rounded over. Beautiful manufacturing work done by Bestech on this level. I really appreciate that. And while we're looking at these handle scales, check that out. We've got T8 hardware all the way around. It's almost as if Tri-State knew what people want in a knife because he's handled a lot of them. Moving on to the backside here, we've got a 3D milled titanium pocket clip, full length geared 3D milled titanium back spacer, and it's a frame lock. That frame lock is going to be locking in and out somewhere around 35%. Yeah, that sounds about right. The action is running on ceramic bearings. And the lock is going to be about as strong as any frame lock out there. And I say that because this isn't just any frame lock. This is a button actuated frame lock. For those of you familiar with the Golden Design Works caliber, it's going to be kind of similar to the way that that works, if not exactly similar. In fact, they might actually be using the same OEM. I'm not sure, I'd have to check, but I would not be surprised if Bestech was also the OEM behind the Golden Design Works caliber. So yeah, essentially, this is going to be a knife that checks all of the boxes that YouTubers like myself usually talk about when we start looking into the design and the quality build of a knife. And it goes without saying, guys, this is gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Just take a look at some of these photos that I took of this knife here in the fall. Yeah, it's amazing. Now, I'm not entirely happy, and part of that is because when I looked on Blade Binge to see what versions of this knife were sold, I only found 2, and this specific one, this beautiful plain Jane version, was not one of them. They have a full PVD version and a reverse tux version, which is not this at all. And I'm not sure if maybe they did sell these, but it was in like a super limited amount. But it is a crime if the full plain Jane version was not made available, because in my opinion, I don't have anything against PVD, but the satin finish is gorgeous, especially paired with that hollow grind and the flat, the two-tone satin flat. Yeah, no, this 100% should have been an option. And if it wasn't, that is a crying shame. I'm sure you guys will correct me in the comment section if it was available and for some reason Blade Binge just isn't showing it. $300, is it worth it? Well, I mean, all of this titanium, and look, it's milled out on the inside. Plus we have a button actuated frame lock. At $300, I don't think that that's an amazing price, but I think that it's fair. I think that it's fair. 100%. You don't get all of these things without spending some extra money. The milling work on handle scales like this, the finishing to round out those corners and then mill out those handle scales, especially on something like this. Yeah, look at that. For you freaks out there who absolutely obsess over making sure that your blade is centered, that's brave. There's no questioning. Is it centered? Yeah, it's perfectly centered. So what are we getting to here? Should YouTubers be designing knives? I'm going to say yes. And I'm not just saying that because I am one. I'm saying that because as a YouTuber, I can tell you that other channels handle more knives than me, including Tri-State, and I still handle hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of knives. When you have the opportunity to handle so many pieces of EDC cutlery, you get a feel for what design language works, what doesn't work, and it puts you in a position to ask for things that make a difference to the end user. I think that there is a group of people in the community that do not like knife YouTubers because they think that we're all a bunch of paid shills and that we'll just say whatever we can to get people to use our affiliate links. But at the end of the day, I can tell you from experience, the last thing I want to do is recommend a knife that I don't even like using. Those who take the chance on designing their own knife and putting it out to market are definitely not those who want to put out something that is inferior. I think that this is a great piece of cutlery. It's not without faults, and I'm going to go over a few things that I would have liked to have seen changed design-wise. The first is going to be this landing spot. This landing spot is very well intentioned. It's supposed to make it easier to go in and out of the pocket. And does it? Yes. But I feel like it's a half measure. I feel like it would have been better served if we had had a landing strip. Maybe that's an idea for Tri-State. Next model name of your next knife. First the Tri-Stash, next the landing strip. Thank me later. I digress. A landing strip for this pocket clip would have actually served better, and it would have helped reduce the tension and friction of going in and out of the pocket, because let's keep it real for a second. This milled texturing right here is a straight up cheese grater on any fabric that it touches. And while that landing spot definitely helps, it's not a full measure, and that's something that I would have liked to have seen. Something that I'm really appreciative of is this jimping. Check this out. This jimping is very, very long as far as jimping is concerned. It goes as far as you would need it to. So you can get a full choked up grip here all day. All day, baby. How's the pinch grip? I know you guys are going to ask. Yeah, pinch grip is pretty good. I don't really hold my knives like that. I know some people do. But you can get a nice full hammer style grip, saber style grip, whatever you want to call it. Indexing the knife is very easy as well. Something that kind of threw me off when I first started handling this was the internal milling. The internal milling on here is deep. It's very pocketed, and it makes it feel lighter than it has any right to be. It threw me off, but it creates for some really good balance here. I have absolutely no issue indexing and manipulating this knife. It feels really good in the hand. All the things that your favorite knife channels harp on about: T8 hardware, full length back spacers, 3D milled pocket clips, new locking mechanisms, although it's not really new. A button actuated frame lock is definitely interesting. All the things, hollow grinds, good cutting geometry, they're all there. And they're always going to be there on knives that are designed by knife reviewers, because we know what the people care about, because we are the people. Should knife reviewers be designing knives? Absolutely. Is this a good one? Absolutely. Should he have released a full plain Jane version of this? Yes. And I hope I'm wrong, and you guys will correct me in the comment section down below. But now I'm curious. Did you get in on the Tri-State EDC Tri-Stash, or were you one of those who sat on the fence? And in your opinion, should knife reviewers be designing knives? And more importantly, would you like to see me design one? Let me know in the comments section down below. Guys, if you've watched this far and you enjoyed the video and you're not subscribed, help me out. I'm very close to 10,000 subscribers. Hit that subscribe button. And if you want to watch more awesome Knife at EDC content, go ahead and click on one of the videos that pops up next.